So welcome back to Folk in the Front Room. This week we have Ben. How do you pronounce your surname?
Hutcheson.
Ben Hutcheson. And he lives in Bath, so it's really nice he's come down for us today to do 3 songs, which you'll be listening to in just a minute. So tell me a bit, Ben, about your beginning of your musical career. How did it start?
Well, that's a hard one. The original time I really started playing was when I was a lot younger.
Mm-hmm.
So about 13 or 14 I got on the first guitar, and I actually put it down for about 6 months and didn't really play it.
Okay.
And eventually just started playing it every day after that, just kind of because I was bored, and eventually it became this massive hobby that was such a big thing to me. And then I just started doing open mics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my actual first gig was till I was about 16, so it was about 3 years on after that until I did actually start gigging.
Uh-huh.
But it really started to kick off just before I came to uni, about 17ish, so for the last 4 or 5 years I've been properly gigging.
And so that first guitar you got, what was it?
That was an ESP East Coast. It was a electric guitar. It was really quite a cheap guitar actually, but it was amazing to me, put it that way.
Yeah. First guitars always are, even if they're absolutely rotten. Yeah.
Well, exactly. It could have been a £5 guitar that I found at an auction and still would have happily played it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
And why the choice of guitar though?
I think it was because my friend introduced me to playing guitar, and
Mm-hmm.
he had one. I started playing around with it when I was at his, and his was like a flying V, and it was like a massive electric guitar. And I just went, okay, I kind of want an electric guitar to learn that sort of stuff. And eventually, after a while, I went, okay, I want an acoustic, and started to learn more about that sort of thing. And then eventually just went, okay, well, I think acoustic's the basis of where I need to be with this sort of stuff, especially if I'm going to be singing and writing as well. So yeah, I think it just started with a love of music, and then went, oh, actually, you can possibly do this as more than just a hobby. So. Yeah.
And so what were your influences to start with? So when you were little and you got that first guitar, what had you been listening to that inspired you to even want to have the guitar?
I was brought up on my parents' music, which was anything from reggae to metal. It was really varied. Mostly like 80s stuff was where I was mostly brought up on. There's a lot of AC/DC and stuff, and a lot of like Erasure and pop sort of 80s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously being born just before the 2000s, it was kind of, that's all in there as well for my sort of influences. So that kind of was the original influence, and things like The Script were massive to me. And eventually about 14 or so I discovered country music properly and started listening to that, and then became sort of a folk and country artist after that, because I felt that was the music that I wanted to do. So.
And do you prefer to play acoustic guitar, or you're right with electric?
I do prefer to play acoustic guitar now after all the time, but I can play both. I'm not as skilled as I used to be on the electric, to say the least, because I haven't really played it at all, but yeah, much prefer acoustic.
And did you learn music as well? So do you, like, can you read it and all that?
I can read it a bit, yeah. I'm more just a self-taught person with that. I kind of just went, okay, I have to learn a bit of it for when I was studying, so I can kind of read a bit of sheet music and things like that, but I'm not that quick with it. Tabs and stuff I can read quite quickly for guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know a bit of theory around the stuff, but it's more just kind of experimenting for me mostly. So.
And the guitar you got now, tell me about that.
The acoustic Taylor, yeah, the acoustic Taylor. It's lovely. I got it for Christmas this year actually. I kind of just said, look, this is the guitar I need. I had another semi-acoustic, which was a Yamaha. I went, okay, that's good, but it's not quite as crisp. And obviously, as soon as I played that in the store, even my parents just went, yeah, that's just,
it's a lovely
it's
sound.
Completely different to everything else. So I think Taylors and things like that are just a step above the rest, in my opinion. So yeah, thought I needed it and just went, okay, I'm going to get it. Done.
And you've done an album, so tell us about your album.
So I've done 2 EPs. So I released the first EP, Tear Down the Gates, which is available on all platforms. I released that on, I think it was the 28th of May 2 years ago, or something like that. And then I just released a second EP, Bloodlines, which is also available on all platforms. And they were kind of, the first one I just went, okay, I really want to get an EP done, I've got nothing out, I want to get it all done. And then the second one I had to do for my studies, which I would have done either way. And since then I'm now currently recording a new single, which we'll be releasing in the summer, and then we're moving on to recording an album in the summer as well, so we'll be having an album ready by next year.
Excellent. Okay, and so you're studying at Bath Spa Uni, so tell us about the course you're on.
I'm on commercial music. I'm on the IMA, which is the Integrated Masters. I'm just going into my 4th year now. And it's brilliant. It's an amazing course. Really has helped me with leaps and bounds of it. Like I've learned so much about production and just events management and performing and everything. And since I've come here, just my confidence has been boosted 10 times over. So they really do know what they're on about, especially with some of the lectures that are there. So
yeah, they are good. And is there something you have to produce at the end of it? Do you sort of have a piece of work that you have to?
Yeah, so it's we have to do a master's project, and my master's project is going to be my album.
Right.
So I've basically just got to sit there with the album and pitch it to labels and things and see what they think and explain it all through that. And yeah, it's all very full on with it, but it is basically just the album is the main point of it. So.
And do you play on your own, or is there a band?
I do a bit of both. So I have a band under my name as well. So we actually just played this Friday. We played about other bands and things like that. We're playing a few gigs in the summer at festivals. Like I'm playing Funk in the Forest, and I'm playing a few other select festivals coming up. Playing at the Brew House actually later on today down in Bath. But yeah, I kind of vary between sort of solo gigs and band gigs. We've just introduced a few new members to the band, so it is kind of solo gigs mostly at the moment, just while we get everyone else up to speed, and then yeah, I think we're really excited to start playing as a band properly. So.
And how many people in the band?
So we've got another 4 people. So we've got a drummer, guitarist, bassist, and a keyboard and vocalist, and both my guitar and keyboard player both sing with me. So.
Okay, good. And who writes the songs for that?
I do. I write all the songs. Yeah. Yeah. So I prefer to have. If it's under my name, I just go. I'd rather have my own songs. I let them all write their own parts. I kind of give them an idea of what the song I would like it to sound like, and then let them write their own parts, and then we kind of play around with it and get it all together. So there's no one person doing it. It is their point as well, and they will get writing credits if there's ever credits to give and things like that. So I don't want it to be unfair in that way. So
Sure. And tell me about your songwriting then. So where do the songs come from? Do you have the words first or the music?
It's hard. I don't.
Yeah, everybody answers that.
Yeah, I don't know how to say this because it's always been a problem with songwriting. Because before I came to uni, I only had about 5 songs, and now I've got about 40 or 50 songs, and I don't know how I can explain it really. Mostly it started with, I've got an idea for a chorus in the lyrics wise, and then just kind of found the chords to that. So I kind of write the chorus, find the chords for the whole song, write the rest of the lyrics around it. It was mostly the way it does, and then sometimes it is literally just put a pen to paper and it just comes out all in one. You're just going to sit there and go, that hasn't happened in about 3 years, I don't know how that's happened. So
yeah, because you were saying about the whiskey song, that was inspired by you starting at university and having to drink all the time.
Yeah, well, it was kind of all that, and then someone just kind of sat there and said, I feel really down at the moment. So probably because you haven't stopped drinking for about 3.5 weeks. But yeah, so it was kind of one of those things. It's that sometimes you get inspiration, sometimes it just comes from thin air. I've had writer's block for months on end before, so it's horrible with it. But when you get to write, you can. So yeah.
And so, what's your favourite way of performing? So, where if you could like choose anywhere that you really really like to play, where would that be?
It's always been an aspiration to play at Glastonbury.
Okay.
So I'd love to do that.
So we have to say hello to Emily if she's listening.
That'd be lovely. But yeah, I think Glastonbury would always be amazing. I'd love to do quite a few festivals around England, and I'd probably just love to do a few. Stadiums would be obviously amazing, and then things like the O2. Just it's little places at the moment that are kind of just slowly doing it. So obviously we've got malls in Bath and things. It's like playing there is obviously a bit bigger, and then you move on to a festival stage like we did last summer. And it's just amazing to kind of see the big jump in between. That's the important thing to us, is just kind of seeing that there is progress together with it. So
definitely. Well, you're doing really well at the moment, so there's no reason why these other things can't happen.
That's the hope. Yeah, hoping we'll be there. So we'll see.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much for coming in over today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.